All right. I think everything is working. It has been a hot minute since I have done Towel Talk Tuesday. So I just wanted to make sure that I had everything set up correctly, that I had all the channels that were being streamed to. So we're good there. Because honestly, when you have a lot of different social media platforms, you're like, okay, I got to make sure it works on this, got to make sure it works on this, got to make sure it works on this, etc., etc., etc. So just wanted to make sure that we were good. And I think we are. So, welcome to Towel Talk Tuesday. It has been, like I said, a very long time since I've done Towel Talk. So, I, I'm really glad that I got a chance to kind of bring it out of the vault and decided to stream today. I had some extra time on my hands, so why not? Please let me know if you are watching, if it's working, if you're hearing me, if the camera is working, if I'm all, maybe I'm really grainy or like really slow. Sometimes some of those things I can't control, but I'll do my best. But yeah, just if something's weird, feel free to like in the chat, just let me know because you know things happen. That is like the life of live streaming because you can't control your internet. Maybe the weather is bad where you are. Who knows? But I have a few things that I want to go over today, but I do want to kind of cover a little bit about what Towel Talk Tuesday is. I know some of you that are probably watching know what it is, but then others probably don't. So I kind of want to cover a little bit about it because I think it's been, I want to say like 6 months since I've streamed Towel Talk. As you can see, I have a towel on my head. This towel actually, I would take it off and show you, but my hair is a mess because, the idea of Towel Talk getting out of the shower and putting the towel wrap on my head. It's actually the Enterprise D. My dear friend Christopher Collins, oopsie, sorry, I bumped the mic, has gone far and wide to help find me Star Trek towels to put for Towel Talk Tuesday. So at least, I have the Star Trek whole theme going on. I got my Cerrito shirt and I got my little athletic cuffs here. Okay. But Towel Talk Tuesday is essentially something I created, I think it's like 2 or 3 years ago now. And so Towel Talk is something in which I think that I speak the best when I'm natural, when it's not scripted, when I'm just kind of like having a conversation and responding to whatever you guys are commenting. So I really think the stream is the best way to get that. But also, like I'm not one that's like I don't mind dressing up for a stream and like doing my makeup or like putting on a Star Trek uniform or any of that stuff, but um I really think that this is the instance in which I communicate best. So that's what Towel Talk Tuesday came from. And so it's just an informal stream where I talk about some things that are happening either in the pop culture community or in my life. And then, obviously I chat about it. If you guys have thoughts about it, you're welcome to comment. And then we can, kind of bump off of each other. And then after that, then we kind of just go through the topics that I've come up with to talk about today. And then questions, and that's it. So that's really the inception of Towel Talk Tuesday. I originally had done recorded videos for Towel Talk where I had picked like a positive topic where I had done a small, like 2 or 3 minute video about a topic. Like for example, I did one on conventions about how amazing of an experience that is when you get a chance to go to a convention and see all the people that, whether it doesn't matter if it's Star Trek, it could be any franchise where you're actually like, oh my gosh, like you are my people. Like we're talking about Star Trek. We're all on the same vibe, on that same frequency. So, like for example, that is one. Or I did one about not letting other people control your fandom. So like you enjoy the things that you enjoy and other people might not like that, but that doesn't mean that you can't also enjoy that you should be confident in your fandom experiences, like like the poster says, make your fandom your own. um so yeah, that's kind of the brain behind Talk Tuesday. But I do have some topics that I would like to talk about today, and I also would love to get some feedback from you guys. I do have the chat up, so I am able to see your comments. I believe the chat everything is working, because I mean, I don't know on certain platforms. I am streaming to Instagram right now. This is the first time I've ever streamed to Instagram. Um, not quite sure if it's working. I don't have the actual page up. But I don't think because that's a custom HTML that I'll be able to see those comments. But I do have the comments up from Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. For some reason, Twitter's is not showing up, but I don't know why that is. But if you'd like to leave a comment, or like if you have a question, or if you want to kind of put in your thoughts about a certain topic that we talk about, I can see the comments from Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So feel free to either head over to those platforms. Otherwise, I'll see the comments after we're done. So that's cool. I'll definitely follow up with them. So here we go. The first thing I'd like to talk about, I can cross the Tile Talk Tuesday explanation off my list, so I will do that because we're done with that. Is obviously it is going to be Star Trek related, but it's the Strange New Worlds trailer. So I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not one for spoilers, but I'm hoping y'all have had a chance to check out the Strange New Worlds trailer. I really am looking forward to Strange New Worlds. If you are not already aware, I think that is the series that I'm looking forward to the most. I'm very I mean, there's something to be said about all the Star Trek iterations, and I mean, even the new ones. I love things, and I don't love things about all the different Star Trek iterations. But I have always had like a soft spot for like the story arc that we started to see in The Cage, and then that we got to see a little bit more in Discovery season 2, and now we're gonna be seeing it in Strange New Worlds, and so I'm definitely excited for that. I Captain Pike has always been one of my favorite captains. He's also my husband's favorite captain, from Anson Mount's portrayal of him in Discovery season 2. But I'm excited for us to kind of get back to that episodic arc. And rather than like the whole oopsie. See, I'm just whacking things. The whole series long arc. Which is, I mean, to each their own. They're different stories. They're meant to be told in different ways, but I'm very much looking forward to the episodic stuff. So, the trailer, and I'm gonna kind of keep it broad here. Like I said, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I do really like what we saw. I liked in a lot of trailers these days, they give away a lot. I've found that especially for certain movies that you get like a whole big chunk or you get a really important chunk in the trailer, and then it makes the moment less exciting when it actually happens in the show. So I like that we literally just got these little, I mean, it is a teaser, but we got these like little itty bitty spots. And so we didn't get anything like crazy. I mean, we get to see Captain Pike with his beard and, trudging along on a horse in the snow, and that's exciting. But nothing was like, oh my gosh, like I know exactly what's going to happen. And that opens up that door for speculation because, of course, like it is fun to be like, oh, I wonder if they're going to do this, or I wonder if this is what it is. And there's been a million other streamers that have dissected what everything is in the trailer, and that's not what I'm here to do. But if you do want to check that out, do check out some of these other like Star Trek streamers or people on YouTube. Feel free to check them out because they have like gone step by step and like really zoomed in and analyzed everything from the trailer. But that's not where I'm going with this. But if you do want to check that out, check that out. But I found that now that we did get this teaser, it has opened it up the door for us being like, oh, well, we get to see Captain Pike with a beard. That's what like the first thing after the trailer released. I was just like beard, 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 beard. Like that was everything in my feed. And I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, people are like, Anson Mount's beard is giving me life. And I was like, yes. So I'd love to hear if any of you had thoughts on the Strange New Worlds trailer. Um, I mean, like I said, we're only getting like snippets now, but we're getting there. Like we're moving up into May. So we're looking at only being a few months out. Is there something you are excited about? Is there something you're skeptical about? Are you excited to get back to that episodic nature? Would you rather have like a series long story arc? Like I said, all the Star Trek series are different. So it's kind of hard. I've never tried to like pit one up against another one. Of course, I have favorites. Like as many of you know, Deep Space Nine is one of my favorite Star Trek series. So, but I'm not gonna go and say like this is yes, there's different things I can compare them, but I'm not gonna say like objectively this is better or different than this. I'd rather be like, okay, well, they happen in different time periods, they have different crews, um, different ships, etc. So, yes, thoughts on the Strange New Worlds trailer. If you have them, I can mark it off my list. Okay. And we'll move into I'm trying to kind of condense Tall Talk Tuesday because originally, like, we've been on streams that end up being like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And of course, I'd love to stay on stream with y'all all day. But there were some requests of like, hey, can we like pack it up maybe into an hour? Or could we just like make it a little bit more condensed rather than, hashing everything out to the max? So all right. The next topic that I want to move into is what's coming in April. And no, I'm really sad that I'm not going to be talking about Star Trek Chicago. That would be great if I could go, but that is not currently an option. As many of you know, I currently live in Okinawa, Japan, so that is like quite a flight, and currently really not feasible for me to go back to the United States. Although that would have been great if I would have been like Chicago is very close. My home state is Wisconsin, so if I wouldn't be living in Okinawa, it would be very accessible, and I would definitely go. But that's not currently an option. So that's not what I'm talking about. That is happening in April. But it's something happening on April 5th, as I think many of you know what happens on April 5th for the Star Trek community every year, and that is First Contact Day. I know last year that the actual official Star Trek brand kind of came out with a little I think they had a few panels or they had like a little presentation, and I'm curious. I mean, that's right around Star Trek Chicago time in April, so I don't know if we're going to be seeing that again or if that's going to be happening at Star Trek Chicago. I will profess to not really knowing a whole lot about what is happening at Star Trek Chicago. So, for those of you that are planning on going, I'm living vicariously through you because I'm seeing y'all post about how excited you are to go, about what panels you're hoping are going to be presented there, or some have already been approved, and I I really hope I hear more about that, but I won't be there. So for First Contact Day, though, there's something specific that I do want to talk about that I posted about. I think it was about a week ago, and I've kind of been in and out of posting on social media. As you've may have seen, I'm not quite as active as I used to be. That kind of comes along with living in a foreign country and having a full-time job that's not streaming, or managing social media. So I did kind of decide when I moved here, or like in the past few years, that I was going to step back a little bit. But my schedule has opened up a little bit more now, so I have some more time to interact with y'all. This is like a very roundabout explanation, and if if you've never watched my streams, get used to it because this is like exactly how I operate. I do have some comments that are relative to what I was talking about. First of all, it's great to see Rob. And Rob says April 5th is my birthday. So, what a day as a Star Trek fan to have a birthday. So, happy early birthday. I don't know what you're going to be doing to celebrate, if it's going to be something Star Trek related or whatever, but I hope you enjoy your day. And then also from my dear friend Rachel, who says a lot of my friends are going. I'm assuming Star Trek Chicago, but I won't be able to go, but I'm trying not to be jealous. That is like exactly where I'm coming at with it. Living overseas has been really hard, I'll admit, to like especially in the convention scene, there's not really a whole lot of Star Trek happening in Japan. I've tried to, like, change that, like, weed away at it a little bit because I'm like, "Hey, y'all, like, we should get into Star Trek over here." I've done a few lecture presentations. I've done some stuff at the local library, trying to just like inchworm my way in to getting people into Star Trek. But it is hard because you're seeing all your friends having fun at conventions. And once a year, that's what I get. I get Okinawa Comic Con. Usually happens in the fall or winter time. So that's what I get. And unfortunately, there's like nothing Star Trek at the Comic Con. Hoping to change that though. Maybe like help expand it a little bit. Maybe get some Star Trek in there. So we'll see how it goes. Excuse me. That's the one thing I forgot today. I forgot to get a drink of water. I will see how it goes. I'm doing okay right now. I knew there was something I was forgetting. I was like, it's been too long since I've streamed. Um, so first contact day, back to what I was talking about. Something really special is happening. So I work with teenagers. That's my actual job. That's not like streaming is just like a side gig, but my actual work is with teenagers. And so I am planning on doing a fun activity slash event about Star Trek. So, of course, it's going to be happening on April 5th because what better day to do a Star Trek activity? And so I have some plans of some stuff that I would like to do, but I also did want to kind of preface it to you guys if you have any ideas or any thoughts of what would work well. Like I said, I work with teenagers ages 13 to 18, so it's a big chunk. So trying my best to kind of plan a few different activities that will cater to those ages. Um, Obviously, I'm gonna be on top of the moon because I get to talk about Star Trek, but some of my teenagers are not familiar with Star Trek, or maybe it's not their thing. So I'm trying to have something that will be applicable to everybody. So first of all, for first contact day, I have a plan of what I would like to do. And my first activity that I'd like to do, I think the major activity that I want to focus on is kind of like a choose your adventure type thing, like RPG role playing. And so I have already printed out some like cards that I mean I put the L cards on there and everything, but they all will get a roll when they come. And so they have to pick. Obviously, I've created I think it's 12 different roles of opportunities that they could like jobs upon like on a starship. So we have like captain or first officer, we have chief science officer, chief medical officer, we have chief engineer, we have, et cetera, tactical, security, all that stuff. And then on the back, obviously, it explains a little bit about what that role is. And then they all will get because there's different colors that are associated with the different jobs. And so I don't have Star Trek uniforms for them all to wear, and I don't even think they would wear them if I asked them to. But they'll get like a sheet of paper that they can wear that is the color that's associated with their job, right? So they'll come in and they'll learn about what their job is. Like, sorry, this towel is going to fall off my head if I'm not careful. And so they'll learn about what their job is. And then we will move into an area where we'll just have like a little thing set up. I'm not going to do like the full Star Trek Adventures or like Dungeons and Dragons where we're going to have like maps or anything like that. It's going to be more of like a presentation on the projector. And so that gives me a little bit more freedom to work with something I think the teens would be more interested in because sometimes just like while I like the models that my husband is obsessed with Dungeons and Dragons, so he has all the Dwarven Forge models and all that jazz. But I'm not trying to go that direction. I'm trying to do something more like eye catching. So we'll have like a presentation up on the projector, and it'll be like different missions or it's going to be one consecutive mission, but there's going to be like a little kind of branch off for each of the jobs in which they have to decide. They're not going to know that this is their side mission. But like, for example, one of them would be, okay, well, the ship has like power is down and you're being boarded. Like, what do you do? Whose job is it to handle what you do and what do you do? And yes, there's going to be like multiple choice questions because it's hard for them never seeing the show to know, like, okay, well, this is what they would probably do in a Star Trek situation. Let alone a lot of them aren't familiar with role playing games. So that's the plan. And then they have to decide, okay, well, people are hurt now that like people are fighting back against who's boarding you. So what, like the chief medical officer, what are you going to do, etc. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm also going to try to involve like some sound effects and maybe like brief interludes of like if I could pick a situation that actually happened on the show and then I could try to like translate it into how my teen center crew would handle it. So that's my main activity that I'm looking forward to doing. It obviously is a big undertaking, especially for those of you that have been GMs or DMs or any, all that jazz, whether it's D&D, Star Trek Adventures. I mean, the list could go on and on. So I've never like DM'd in an official capacity before, so this is exciting, but also like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to figure out all the contingencies because if you know teenagers, they're like, but what about this? But what about this? Like they're all trying to metagame. So I'm just like, okay, that's gonna be tricky. So that's the main thing that I want to do, but also I'm doing a uniform gallery where I have some posters already created. Sorry, I'm trying to check these boxes off the list because I don't want to miss anything. Oh, Rachel. Rachel says that sounds fun, but yes, a lot of work. But it is work. Like for me, it's not going to feel so much like work because, yes, I am doing this for my work, but it's exciting for me to do. So I think it'll be okay. I will give y'all some updates and if I have more questions. For those of you that are experienced with either DMing or GMing, I'd love to hear your thoughts, or maybe if you're like, hey, maybe try this scenario. I would love that if you have any thoughts. All right. So another thing, like I said, I want to do a uniform gallery, and I'm not going to bring in all my Star Trek uniforms, although I probably will wear one. I'm not sure which yet. I don't know if I want to go, all out with like Tendi or something and all the face paint, but especially if I'm going to be moving around a lot that day, I don't want to like, melt. uh but okay, I have a bunch of posters that I've already created that have a bunch of different eras of Star Trek uniforms. As you know, there are many. It seems like with every new show or with every new season, we're seeing a different iteration of the uniform. At least with a lot of these newer shows. I mean, but even with TNG, we're seeing a different uniform from the first few seasons versus the last, and then we're seeing, like the captain's variant of the uniform, and we're seeing admirals with different variants and all that. So I have posters created, and they're going to be kind of displayed around in a room, and they're going to have to go around and decide. I mean, like I said, a lot of these kids have absolutely no experience with Star Trek. So they've never seen some of these uniforms other than maybe like when we do like stuff for Halloween, they'll see that because I usually will wear a Star Trek uniform around Halloween. Um, and so what they're going to do is they're going to walk around. They're going to have like a little sheet or like a little card that has different questions on it. Because originally I was just going to have them pick what their favorite uniform is. But then I was like, there's so many different uniforms. And when, with teenagers, a lot of them come in their friend groups and their whole friend group will like vote on one. And I'd rather have it be a little bit different, like different thoughts. So it's going to be different questions. So one will be like, which one do you think is your favorite? And then maybe one will be, which one do you think is the most comfortable? Which one do you think is the most uncomfortable? Which one do you think would be, I'm trying to think of other questions that I had already put on this card. Which one would you want to have like, if you were on an away mission, which one would you want to wear? Or, ooh, goodness. I have questions about different variants. And then obviously, like I said, I'm going to be wearing a Star Trek uniform. So then I was going to be like, which Star Trek uniform am I wearing? And they have to write like um, they have some great graphics from like different like versions of Star Trek uniforms. Like they're talking about like 20 like, oh god, I can't remember the years. Don't ever ask me about a star date because I won't ever remember it. uh, but they have like on the labels, they have like, okay, well, this is the Discovery era, whatever. So then they'd have to figure out like whatever uniform I'm wearing. Okay, well, which one is it? Because some of them look very similar. So they'd have to figure out like, and then what division am I? Am I science? Am I engineering? Am I command or etc.? Because that changes versus like it's going to depend on the show because I mean the colors are different. So that's something I wanted to do. I was going to go all out and get the Star Trek themed food, but that's a lot. And like well, of course my coworkers would be happy to help me plan something like this. It's kind of like some of this stuff is very specific. So you'd need to have like background knowledge of Star Trek to be able to do it. So that I'm kind of trying to take this on by myself. So I don't want to overload myself too much because there are times where I have bit off more than I can chew. And so when planning an event, I'm going to try to keep it to maybe those two things. We are going to do a Star Trek movie screening. So we'll have like popcorn and we're going to watch Star Trek 2009. It's something that we already have at the center. One of my favorite Star Trek movies. I think something also that the kids, it is action packed. I think that the kids will respond well to it. So that's the plan. I'm very excited. And I have like a week and a half. What's the 23rd today? Well, for me, it's the 23rd. For you guys, it's probably still the 22nd because I'm making this from the future. I just live on the other side of the dateline. But all right, that is good. I am crossing off Star Trek First Contact Day. If you have any other great ideas of things you think teenagers would like and would respond to well in regards to Star Trek, let me know. I have thoughts, but having different perspectives and different feedback is always important to me. So even if it's something little, I think anything I could do to make this day more Star Trek would definitely appreciate. All right, next on the list, we are about 30 minutes in right now, so we're pretty good. I have 2 more topics I'd like to talk about, and then we'll move on to any questions that you guys have. There are some stuff in the comments. Christoph says, it's already the 23rd here too. Greetings from Austria. Oh, okay. So I'm not the only one that's calling from the future. I always joke about that whenever I'm talking to people back home. I'm like, yeah, I'm from the future. All right. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is a little bit of Star Trek merchandise, something that I was very excited to receive for my anniversary, which was on St. Patrick's Day. And I've seen other people that have also received it. And I was originally really bummed because I did not get on the pre-order list. And so I was like, I have no idea how long it's going to take for me to get this. But I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he got it. But my husband managed to snatch one up. And so I'd like to show you my Lady Janeway. I haven't even taken her out of the plastic yet. I'm not going to open her up today. I will show you the box. But if any of you have watched any of my unboxing videos on YouTube, I have no idea how to post figures. Absolutely awful. My husband, though, is great at it, so he usually helps me with that. But I don't know how much y'all have been following X06 since they took over for the most part, I believe, took over for QMX with making the Star Trek figures. But I could not be more excited that we finally get a Janeway. I am still a little salty at QMX because I really wanted that Sulu, but I don't know. Hopefully that happens with X06 at some point soon. But we have our Janeway. There's the back also shows some stuff that she's got. But you're going to get a great big glare. So that's why I said I'm not really going to unbox her today. Yeah, that was not really what I wanted. But I am thrilled to unbox her. I have no idea where I'm going to put her yet. We have many figures in our home that are just in the box because we have absolutely no shelf space. So I need to get a new display case or something. But I have been very impressed with the stuff that X06 has been doing. They've been coming out relatively quickly. I've not had really any problems with the shipping times. I also have from EXO-6, the only other 2 figures that I have that are EXO are the Picard First Contact and then the Data First Contact. I did though see that they opened up, I don't know if it's a pre-order or if they just showed the prototype of Mir Spock. So that's exciting. I'd love to see a Uhura at some point soon, but I mean, I have no idea what is in their like what they're planning. But if y'all, I don't know, anyone else out there got to get a Janeway? You have her up yet? Feel free to post a picture on like any of the if you're following on Facebook or social media or Twitter or any of that. If you have her posed, I'd love to see maybe get some ideas because like I said, I I'm always afraid that I am clumsy. So I'm like terrified that I'm going to break it. So anytime, I mean, a lot of these figures are durable. And yes, a lot of them come with like, if you're looking at the uniforms on some of this stuff, if you're like Exo 6 or Hot Toys or any of that, like they're incredibly detailed. And so I'm just like, I'm gonna mess it up. I really don't want to do that. So I'm usually just like, hey, ask my husband, like, hey, can you pose this? And he's like, well, what pose do you want? And then we kind of go through some pictures of like actual Star Trek stuff, and then they're like, we pose it. So but yes, excited about Star Trek merch, especially with the stuff that Exo 6 has been doing. So I'm looking forward to what else they come out with. And I will probably be on all those pre-order lists. So looking out for you, Exo 6. If you haven't checked them out or if you haven't seen the figures that they've been doing, feel free to check them out. You can go to their website. Otherwise, I know that they are a distributor through Sideshow. If you're into, if you follow like any of the Sideshow pages, or Sideshow is like a distributor for a lot of figures. So you can check that out. Okay. And I have this last topic that I'd like to talk about, and then we can kind of rope into some questions or whatever you'd like to do. Like it sucks that I can't see any questions from Twitter. I don't know why that is. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I didn't upload it correctly. Who knows? Mm. I'm still, like I said, it's been a hot minute since I streamed, so a lot of this stuff I'm not quite sure about. Oh, great. I didn't even notice. That's all dog hair. I have 2 dogs, and so yes, there's also stuff everywhere in my streaming room right now because I'm planning on moving the streaming room into a different room. So maybe in the future you'll see me streaming in a different area, but I'm not quite there yet. I've kind of been like in the process of moving it over for a long time, but we'll see if it actually ever happens. But okay, my last question for you. It's actually is a question. So if you guys do have thoughts about it, please let me know. And it is about cosplay. And so in December of this last year, finally figured out something that worked for my Ensign Tendi cosplay. If you saw on Twitter, I posted, it's Trek Tuesday. So I said, can Trek Tuesday also be Tendi Tuesday? And then I posted a picture of me with my whole Tendi getup on. But here's my question for you. So Okinawa, Japan, Daystrom Institute, haha, wink, wink. That was an awful wink. But Daystrom Institute, I freaked out when that happened in Discovery, and I was like, oh my God, they're talking about where I live. But I had a problem at the Okinawa Comic Con in December. And of course, you're like, oh, December, not that hot. That's not how things work here. So I used, I don't, I got it I got it from like a Japanese hobby store. So I'm not exactly sure what brand it is or what it's if it's oil based or water based or any of that. But I finally did find a face paint type thing that worked. I've tried liquid latex, doesn't really agree too much with my skin. Also, the liquid latex that I did get, originally I didn't want it to be too lime green. I wanted it just to be like a light green, and the stuff I ended up getting was like very, very dark green. And it just I tried applicating. I can't speak today. I tried applying it in different ways, and I just had absolutely no luck. So I did end up using like a greenish face paint that did set really well. I used setting powder. But it's hot here. And so, unfortunately, as I went through the day at Okinawa Comic Con, I still had fun and it really didn't bother me that much, but I started to melt a little bit, or at least I was getting warm. So like my forehead was getting shiny. I also had it all under here. So like that's where my uniform is connecting. And unfortunately, I think that I just wrecked my uniform. I'm gonna try to get it dry cleaned, but um I've tried kind of scrubbing it out or trying to scrub it out, but I cannot get the green now out of my lower decks uniform, so I might have to order a new one of those. But yes, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I've watched YouTube tutorials of people that have done more stuff with face paint. Unfortunately, we're not like there's not a lot of artists out here that could like airbrush any of that stuff. So that's really not an option for me. But if you have any ideas or if you've done stuff with like setting, if you have like maybe a liquid latex brand you think might work better for me because the one that I got was not I was not a fan. Even though it had great reviews and it had been a brand that a lot of like YouTube people who have also done cosplay have recommended to me or recommended in general. So I was like, that's a bummer. But if you have any thoughts, because I don't want to have to buy a new Lower Decks uniform every single time that I decide to cosplay Tendi, and I'd like to actually get her in for an official shoot because I've only ever worn her at a convention. I've not actually gone out and done a photo shoot because I mean, yes, you can edit that stuff out, but I'd rather not like just destroy my uniform. So if you have any thoughts about that, I'd very much look forward to hearing about it because I know the stuff that they've done for the actual show. So for example, like Orion's, they have moved to especially like the live action stuff because I mean, yeah, we're seeing Tendi on lower decks, but we are seeing live action Orions on Discovery. Um, I believe we've seen them in Picard. I'm watching back through Picard right now. Please don't spoil anything for me. I haven't started season 2 yet. I'm also not finished Star Trek Discovery, and I've already had that sufficiently spoiled for me. I like my husband and I like to watch it together, and we also are watching a lot of other shows, so it's like we're trying to play catch up with a lot of stuff. But with the Orions, especially in Star Trek Discovery that we've seen, they have moved towards doing like a darker green for the face paint. And I know also that I believe they put a prosthetic over their entire face and then they paint over that. Uh, I mean, I'm no makeup artist, so don't quote me on that. But I did go to uh in 2019. Oh my gosh, that feels like ages ago. Before I moved to Okinawa, the summer of 2019, they had a museum exhibition of Star Trek Discovery where they had like a floor that talked about how they did different makeup, and they had videos of them putting together like Arium or Saru and all that. So we got a little bit of an inside look into how they're doing makeup there. But I was like, some of that stuff I don't have access to, nor am I talented enough to even attempt it. So, yeah, if you have experience with body paint and cosplay, I'd love to hear from you. You can shoot me a DM on really any of the platforms. But if you have something that you're like, this is my go-to, this 100% works, it's not going to melt off, but it also won't destroy your skin. Because I also like, yes, I could go for it and just, it would work for a day. And then for the next week or so, I'd just be like, absolutely like, I have sensitive skin. That's the worst part is because every time I used to wear my Bajoran nose prosthetic that I'd wear for Ro, and I probably shouldn't have put it on the way that I did because it was something. So the prosthetic I created is actually made out of toilet paper. And so you like roll it up and you glue it together and you glue like that, you form it to your face and you put like glue stick or actual glue on it and they form it to your nose, right? And then you create like the different sections, you roll up little pieces and then you put it on. And then you paint it with like makeup or like if you have like a foundation colored paint. And then you bond it to your face with glue, like glue from a glue stick, like purple glue stick. Well, it doesn't have to be purple. It could be just the clear one too. And that is what I had been doing for a really long time. Whenever I would cosplay her, whenever I would go to a convention, and absolutely crazy because it would go on, and then of course during the day you're not actively thinking about it. Like, yes, you go to the bathroom and you make sure it's not falling off, but when it's bonded really well, it's not something that I actively thought about. But then when you take it all off, like my whole entire, like, this section of my face was like absolutely red and like blotchy for like over like 2 weeks afterwards, because of course I used Elmer's glue to bond it to my face. So if you have any recommendations, I do see Rachel put up. Do you ever use setting spray? I use the Urban Decay All Nighter one and it keeps my makeup super well, but I have not tried it with face paint. I do have like a setting powder. I've not tried setting spray. I might have to try that since you suggested it. Thanks for the suggestion. Uh, the problem it is mostly because at conventions when I go, I I'm the person I there's no absolutely no judgment here, but there are some cosplayers that just kind of plop themselves in one spot. And then like if people want to come say hi to them, then they come say hi and they get pictures and stuff. But I'm moving at a convention. I'm going to the panels, I'm trying to talk to the talent, I'm trying to look at the vendor hall and all that stuff. And so I that's part of the reason I think I get so warm because I'm moving around. Like I'm talking to people, I'm going between different areas, especially when you're getting to some of the bigger conventions where you're like massive convention halls. And so I'm moving around. And then of course I'm getting sweaty because like you're in this uniform and you're in the pants and you're in like, all the stuff you got to put on underneath it so it all works and you're warm. So that's the major issue. I don't think if I was like going around so much that it would be so bad. But I'm not the one who's gonna kind of stand there at a convention and wait for people to come to me. Like I do want to go out and meet people and kind of like it's okay to introduce myself and like go to all the panels and all that. So yeah. But Rachel, I will check that out. Thank you for suggesting that. I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget it. Urban Decay. I'm sure I could maybe find it at like Sephora or something. I will look. Cool. Well, that's all the stuff that I have on my list. So I have some stuff in the chat. I missed one back here from Twitch. Ramona makes puns. Do a Boimler trying to impress Barbara and put together a weird Frankenstein of multiple uniforms. I actually for a while I had thought about doing with this is in reference to like my first contact day event at my teen center that I work at. And so I had thought about like them seeing the different uniforms that I have displayed and they have to like create something or try to make a uniform because we have big poster paper like butcher paper and you can cut it and like make it into like a fun paper uniform. Like we did a medieval day once and I made like a whole get up where I just like wrapped the paper around and you draw stuff on it and that's really fun. So I thought maybe I would have them make their own Star Trek uniform or look at one and try to do that. That is something that is still up in the air. But that would be fun if they had to kind of like create your own. That would be fun. All right. We also have a comment from Ken. Good to see Ken here. Hello from Maryland. Have to head off to a late dinner shortly, but wanted to at least quickly sample Tall Talk Tuesday for the first time. That's exciting. Well, welcome. Very neat insights into the world of cosplay. Thanks so much. I must catch more of these. Unfortunate. Well, I'm going to do my best to do more of them. Like I said, right now my schedule does allow for me to have some time to do this. So we'll see if I get to do more. I'm kind of excited about maybe bringing this back as something regular. Like I said, I'm always open to feedback. So if you have any thoughts about how Towel Talk Tuesday could be made better, or if you're like, hey, maybe you should introduce this segment on the show, I'm always open to that stuff. So feel free to either shoot me a message or comment on one of the Towel Talk Tuesday posts and be like, hey, maybe try this next time. I know some streamers or just like in general are very not open to hearing constructive criticism, but I am here for like I love sharing my thoughts with the community, but I'm also here to interact with you guys. So if you think there's a way that I could do that better, let me know. But awesome. Thanks for coming, Ken. And we're at for about 48 minutes because I started a little bit after 8 o'clock, so had to wait for colors to pass. That happens at 8 because I don't want that blasting in y'all's ears when I'm streaming. So it's been great. This has been awesome. I think we're at about the time in which I'd like to wrap things up. I've gotten really all my thoughts in that I'd like to get with you. If you have any last minute questions or thoughts, feel free to post them because I'll try to get them in while I'm kind of doing my exit spiel, all that jazz. I'm just kind of scrolling back through the comments to see if I missed a whole lot. I do have some that I have a few that did come up. Just like Christoph says, watching and hearing you on YouTube and Twitch. Wow, double duty. Thank you so much for tuning in on both. It's good to hear that it's working on both. Who knows if it's working on Instagram? Like I said, I uploaded the custom HTML. Like I'd like to think I know how to work technology really well, but when it comes to streaming, this is all very new to me. So fingers crossed that Instagram works. Wolfpack97 also says wanted to pop in and say hello since it's been a while before I go out to dinner. I know I'm probably catching some of y'all at an inconvenient time, but this is really the only time that works for me. I used to do these streams at like 4 a.m, and I just can't do that anymore. I know it probably works better for you guys for time, but I just can't. I am a person who does not function well when I don't get enough sleep. So, Ken also said, sorry, I couldn't help with the makeup problems. That's okay. That's why I said, I think it's something I've tried to watch, like YouTube tutorials on it. But I mean, it's going to react whatever you decide to use for makeup for cosplay. It's going to react with everybody differently. Of course, some people have had probably good reactions or good outcomes when they've used certain stuff, but that doesn't mean it's going to be true for everybody. So that's why I'm always open to new ideas. Okay, what else? Twitter is not working. Oh dear. It's not streaming? That's unfortunate. I will try to see what's going on after the fact. I did have it all set up to stream to Twitter, but otherwise, maybe I'll try to share it over if I have a chance later. But cool. Also, yes. Oh, do I play Star Trek Adventures? I have the actual set to start playing, but I have not even opened it yet. I've not had enough time to really feel like I can sit down and really devote time to it. So, I want to delve into that sort of stuff when I have time, because if I'm going to commit to doing something, especially if I'm going to run a campaign, I'd love to give it my all because I want it to be amazing, because I know it could be. So that's not something I've delved into just quite yet, but I have seen a lot of people post about their Star Trek adventures. Star Trek adventures. They're them playing Star Trek adventures. So feel free to check them out. Also, Pedro says, if Twitter isn't working, I'll send my welcome back through here. All right. Well, great to see you here. I'm sorry Twitter is not working. I will try to figure that out for next time. I know I had to reconnect because Periscope is phasing out now, so maybe that's the issue. But we'll figure it out. But I will sign off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you a little bit about where you can find me other than the stream that you're obviously watching right now. So T Trekkie, as you can see, the poster. Also, how do I do this in the right way? Also, this little logo right here. It's really weird because there's nothing actually here. But all right, the little logo right there. So that T Trekkie is really where you can find me anywhere except for YouTube. So T Trekkie on Twitter, T Trekkie on Instagram, T Trekkie on Facebook. The page is called 26-Year-Old Trekkie, but if you type in T Trekkie, like at T Trekkie, it'll come up. T Trekkie on Twitch. And then on YouTube, I'm the 26-Year-Old Trekkie. And so obviously right now I'm doing some more on different platforms. So I'm primarily on Twitter, which sucks that this stream is not working on Twitter right now. But primarily on Twitter is where you'll find my thoughts and stuff. My website's under construction right now, so I'm not going to share that because you'll just get nothing. And then YouTube, I really am not doing a whole lot right now, but I'd love to phase that back in. So we'll look at doing that or kind of wrapping back around to that. But cool, that's where you can find me. Also, if you do want to shoot me an email, you can it's the.truckee@gmail.com. Uh I'd like to just preface with like if you're going to DM me or if you're going to email me, if it is inappropriate, I will block you and I will not respond. Um but I am very open to interacting with other people. So if you do want to say hi or if you want to talk about Ensign Ro, my favorite Star Trek character, I would be down for that all day, or just talk about Star Trek or pop culture in general, because I have a lot of different pop culture loves, not just Star Trek. I mean, Star Wars, Justice League, etc. Cool. But also, okay, Christoph shared a little bit more information. The stream on Twitter is working for watching, but on desktop and smart TV, Twitch and YouTube are better, or Facebook for commenting or chatting with threads. Okay. I don't really know why Twitter has not integrated like very well with commenting. Beats me. You'd have to ask the people there. But cool, at least we got some clarification there. But cool, I will sign off now. I'm very glad that I was able to do this today. Thank you so much for everybody that came out. It really means a lot. I cannot speak to how much the Star Trek community means to me, and just to have you guys, even when I was posting about that I was bringing Tal Talk back, everyone was like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited," and I was just like, "Ah." I appreciate you guys so much, and keep on, keep on trekking, keep on sharing the love for Trek and talking about it, and finding other people in this community that love it also, and y'all can bond over stuff. Or even if you guys don't agree, I found that some of my best discourse is with people that might not have the same exact thoughts as I do. Of course, that we have to do it within a realm of respect and like no hate speech, no bigotry, none of that. Not into that. I don't participate in conversations like that. Also, people that are taking part in hate speech or bigotry or sexism or racism, like those people are not good members of the Star Trek community. I don't really consider them members of the Star Trek community, because they should know better than to bring that stuff into, our realm, which is supposed to be talking about diversity and inclusivity and respecting everybody and how we can move forward better to the future. So, but in the spaces that we do have, there's, I mean, a lot of online spaces on different platforms. Just keep sharing the love for Star Trek. And I mean, you can have conversations about how, hey, maybe this episode wasn't my favorite, but it is your favorite. Let's talk about why it is your favorite. There's ways to have that conversation that are not destructive. And I am always open to listening to different viewpoints, as long as they're expressed respectfully. Also, if you have not seen, well, I'm sure you have because you've been watching the stream, but oh, wrong corner. This is weird. How do I do this? It's mirrored. I stand with Ukraine. It's awful, the stuff that's happening there right now. So I'm going to try to, after the stream, share some stuff about the ways that you can help Ukraine. I know a lot of, especially in my community right now, they're doing drives where you can donate like clothes or hygiene items, stuff that gets sent over to Ukraine, stuff that they really need there. So I will sign off with that. Also with my characteristic trek on and live long and prosper. And thank you guys so much for coming to Tall Talk Tuesday today. Hopefully I'll be able to do this next Tuesday as well. Well, my Wednesday, but y'all's Tuesday. But thank you so much. This was so great. I'm so happy that this is back. So